Hello everyone, welcome to this online class. In this video we shall discuss about distribution of pressure belts. Already we have discussed and learned about temperature zones or heat zones of the earth. We have learned about how earth is divided according to the temperature that is received. We know that there is torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. So the pressure also varies according to the temperature. As we know, there is high pressure, then it is low temperature. If there is low pressure, it's due to the high temperature. So on the basis of these, the pressure belt of the earth is categorized into four. The first one is equatorial low pressure belt. The second one is subtropical high pressure belt. Third one is subpolar low pressure belt. And fourth one is polar high pressure belts. So now let us discuss one by one how the area becomes low pressure and high pressure and then low pressure and then high pressure. Alright, so we know that due to temperature the variation of the pressure changes. The first one is equatorial low pressure belt. 5 degree north and 5 degree south of the equator is a place known as intertropical convergence zone. Intertropical convergence zone is a place or is a region lies between 5 degree north and 5 degrees south of the equator, and that area is also known as doldrums. What is doldrums? The equatorial region of low pressure where northeast and southeast trade winds meet. What is doldrum, or how do we define doldrum? The meeting place of southeast and northeast wind, trade winds. Alright, so these northeast and southeast trade winds meet in the region of 5 degree north and 5 degree south. They converge, they meet, and that meeting place also is known as icse, that is intertropical convergence zone. Doldrums is the equatorial belt of low atmospheric pressure where the northeast and southeast trade winds converge on and meet each other, producing calm and light surface winds and strong upward movement of air. So doldrum means, in another term, it is known as calm and light surface, but strong upward movement of air will be there. Right. The doldrums has come to be associated with a gloomy, listless mood, perhaps reflecting the sultry air, variable breeze found there. In this zone, strong heating causes surface air to expand and rise. The humid, rising, expanding air causes conventional rainfall as it is cooled in the upper layer of the atmosphere. So we know that equatorial area receive direct rays of the sun, strong rays of the sun. So due to the high temperature, the area becomes low pressure, and due to this strong heating, the surface of the oceans or the surface air will rise up. We know, we have studied about the convection, how the air rises due to the temperature on the surface of the earth, and as it happens on the oceans, what happens? It carries moisture along with them, and on certain limit of the atmosphere, upper layers of the atmosphere, that cools down and there is rainfall, and that rainfall is called as convectional rainfall. You might have studied or learned about 4 o'clock rainfall or afternoon, that happens already. Equatorial areas have rainfall throughout the year due to the direct rays of the sun, and that rainfall is known as convectional rainfall. Despite the calm and light winds, doldrums are characterized by turbulent and stormy weather with heavy rains, thunderstorms and squalls. So despite it is defined that it is known as doldrums. Doldrums means calm and quiet surface. But it has turbulent of stormy weather. There is thunderstorms, there is squalls, means a violent wind will be there, as well as heavy rainfall throughout the year due to the heating of the surface of the ocean. One thing to remember is that in the equatorial areas, it is low pressure. It is due to the heating of the surface of the oceans, or it is due to the high amount of sun rays that receive. Due to that, the surface becomes more heat and the air expands. It rises up, it ascends and distributes to the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Now let's see about the second pressure belt, that is subtropical high pressure belts. How it becomes high pressure belt? The air which has ascended in the low equatorial pressure belt, the wind falls in this region and this wind piles up continuously. So due to this reason, the area becomes high pressure belt. The subtropical high pressure belts lie adjacent to the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. It is close to Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This belt expands up to 40 degree north and 40 degree south, both the hemisphere. And these belts are mainly regions in anticyclones are very common in this region, that is 40 degree north and 40 degree south. In the subtropical belts, that is 25 degree to 35 degree north and south, both the hemisphere, the air generally descends. Descend means it comes down. The air which has ascended in the equatorial low pressure belt, in this layer, this air descends. So after ascending equatorial, air starts blowing away towards the poles above the Earth's surface. Later, due to rotation, instead of moving poleward, the air starts sinking in subtropics and its piling up creates high pressure belt. So when the piling of the wind that has been ascended in the low equatorial pressure belt makes the area or creates high pressure belts. These belts are known as Horse latitudes. So the subtropical high pressure belt is also known as Horse latitude. Remember, in equatorial low pressure belt there is a term doldrums, and in subtropical high pressure belt there is a term Horse latitude. Why the area is called Horse latitude? So in the olden days, when the people used to travel by ship, the main cargo were the transportation of the horse. Horse were being exported from the different countries. So this area, due to the absence of the winds, the ships would sink, right? So the ships will not move. So due to this reason, what happened? They would unload, they would throw the horses down to the sea to make the ship lighter. That's why this area or this region is known as Horse latitude, that is between 25 degree north to 35 degree, that is in the both hemisphere, right? So now there is another pressure belt is subpolar low pressure belts. Here we already know that in the both hemispheres, 55 degree north to 60 degree north and south of both hemisphere, we have learned that these areas receive very less sunlight or less temperature because they receive slanting rays of the sun. Then how it becomes the low pressure belt? There is a question arising. So it is because of the rotation of the earth. Remember, in the equatorial areas, the low pressure belt creates due to the high temperature, and in the subpolar low pressure belts is due to the rotation of the earth. Alright. The subpolar low pressure belts lie between 55 degree to 60 degree north and south of both hemispheres. Due to the low temperatures in these latitudes, the subpolar low pressure belts are not very pronounced, but they are dynamically produced by the rotation of the earth. As we know, the plane of eclipse is 66 degree and a half, and the latitude of this is between 55 degree to 60 degree, right? And the inclination of the axis is 23 degree and a half, that is perpendicular to the plane of eclipse, that is 66 degree and a half. So as it is perpendicular, due to the rotation of the earth, the air will be moving outward. So due to that, the area becomes low pressure belt. The fact is that the surface air spreads outward from this zone due to the rotation of the earth, which results low pressure belt on the subpolar areas. The subpolar low pressure belt is more developed in southern hemisphere than in the northern hemisphere. So the subpolar low pressure belt is more prevalent or more developed in southern hemisphere than compared to the northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, maybe it is because of the presence of the landforms that is there, and in the southern hemisphere the presence of the water bodies is more. That's why maybe the low pressure belt is more developed in southern hemisphere. Then we have polar high pressure belts. Polar high pressure belt means it is a polar area, as we know, 90 degree north and south. So that region receives extremely slanting rays of the sun. So when you talk according to the temperature, it is already low temperature. So it is high pressure belt will be there. 75 degree to 90 degree north and south of both hemisphere. The Arctic and Antarctic polar regions are cold throughout the year. So they are cold throughout the year due to the low temperature. These are the areas of high pressure categorized or characterized by permanent anticyclones. Easterly winds spiral outward from the polar high pressure belt. So easterlies, they create circulations outward from the polar high pressure belts. Of the two polar regions, the Antarctic high is significant in terms of both strength or persistence, and in the Arctic, a polar pressure cell is less pronounced, but in Antarctic, it is more developed. When it does form, it tends to locate over the colder northern areas in winter rather than directly over the relatively warmer Arctic Ocean. So Arctic Ocean bits remain warm, so due to that it is less high pressure belt, but in Antarctic Ocean it is high due to the extremely low temperature. Thank you for watching this video so patiently, and any doubt, any queries are there, please do ask. I hope you all are understanding the chapter and what all the things we are discussing. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. God bless you.